Boxing truth here. I had to talk a little bit about how fans and also Canelo's haters, people that are pissed off at Canelo for what he's doing, the situation with the middleweight title, the situation with Triple G holding the belt hostage, all shit like that. How a lot of fans are underestimating the fighting ability of Canelo Alvarez. Now, some people are letting the hatred they have for Canelo affect their judgment. So they may say things that could raise your eyebrow a little bit in terms of his capabilities, what opponents he could beat at around the middleweight division. But I just want to let it be known that I'm not a big fan of Canelo Alvarez, but I'm not going to let my disagreements over his decision making and his behavior affect my judgment on his ability in the boxing ring. Now, let me break it down to you. Canelo Alvarez can fight. There's no doubt about that. The kid can fight. He's really improved over the past 4 to 5 years. I remember watching this kid as a teenager on an HBO pay-per-view undercard. He was fighting Miguel Cotto's brother, Jose Miguel Cotto, and you saw it back then how raw he was, how he was still in the development stage, but he had a lot. He had potential as well. Good combinations, fast. He had good, accurate, precision type punches, and for a young kid, he was already being pushed as a potential star in boxing and for the future. Already with a bunch of fights under his belt. The kid is still under 26 years old, and he's only going to get better. That's the scary part. He hasn't even reached his peak yet. As Oscar said, we have yet to see the best of Canelo Alvarez. Now, Canelo, he does have limitations, he has flaws, as does any fighter in boxing. Now, his flaws are he's not in the best condition that he could be. He doesn't throw enough punches. And also, he has problems cutting the ring off and tracking down guys who are constantly moving away from him. But that type of style gives a lot of fighters problems. It's not easy freaking chasing guys down. It's not easy chasing fighters that fight like bitches, trying to outplay tag with you and out-touch you like a certain fighter does. It's an annoying style to deal with because you constantly have to keep your feet moving. It takes away from being able to land combinations. And that's the thing about having Canelo fight these type of styles. It takes away from his trademark combinations and his ability to throw these 3, 4, 5 punch combinations. But he needs his feet to be set in order to be able to display those type of punches. Now, Golden Boy, for the rest of Canelo Alvarez's career, should keep him away from these movers, these slicksters, because watching Canelo guys chase guys down is not as fun as watching him display these good counter-punching with combinations being thrown, full arsenal of punches. It's just so much more fun watching Canelo fight a guy who's aggressive, coming at Canelo and trying to knock his head off. Watch the Angulo fight. You see Canelo Alvarez at his best. A guy that's coming forward at him, plotting towards him, and Canelo just picks him apart with counter punches, hooks, uppercuts, combinations upstairs, downstairs, and it's all with precision, speed, and power. The kid is very sharp. He's got good speed. It's not great speed, but it's very good speed. Good power. I wouldn't say Canelo Alvarez is a devastating power puncher. I wouldn't say he has devastating type power like compared to a Triple G. Punch for punch, Triple G hits harder. But Canelo has produced highlight reel type knockouts, one punch knockouts, but against mostly undersized guys like a Carlos Baldemir, a James Kirkland. He wasn't undersized but inactive. But mostly against smaller guys Early in his career, he had, good knockout wins, and also another undersized guy in Amir Khan. But Canelo is just getting better and better. He's definitely gonna be Triple G's toughest fight date. Now, when I say that, do I say it as that he's gonna beat Triple G? No, it might not even be a big challenge for Triple G, but it definitely could be his toughest fight to date, considering that Canelo would beat the majority of Golovkin's opponents. Now, when it comes to a potential fight with Triple G, Triple G, he's in better condition. He throws a lot more punches. He's also better technically. He has the better amateur background. And also his biggest weapon for that fight would be the jab, because Canelo does get hit with jabs up the middle. But Canelo has shown that he can slip punches, he can counter. I mean, he was showing it against Amir Khan that not only he was the bigger fighter, the bigger, stronger, much stronger fighter, but that he was also the better fighter. He was able to slip Amir Khan's punches. He was able to out jab him at times, even land these nice single shots, counter, roll off some of Amir Khan's punches, and counter with big shots to the body. He was rolling some of Amir Khan's punches, slipping them, dodging them, and he could have iced Khan a lot earlier than he did, but he was just coming up just a little short with that counter right hand. After he would slip, he would dip off of Amir Khan's jab. He would just barely miss it, and then he was able to set up the knockout with a feint to Amir Khan's chest. Amir Khan fell for it. Left hand was super low, and Canelo went over the top with the right hand, a punch that Khan never saw coming, and it was night-night. But I just wanted to put my 2 cents in about Canelo Alvarez's fighting ability. I've noticed a lot of people, some people in the YTBC, are underestimating his skills, his skill set, what he brings to the table, his arsenal of punches, counter-punching ability, head movement. I mean, he's not your typical Mexican fighter. He's a much more versatile fighter to a typical Mexican fighter. He doesn't pressure like those guys. He doesn't fight like he doesn't throw 1,000 punches. He doesn't throw over 100 punches around. He's not constantly putting a lot of pressure, but he's a very skilled boxer puncher with good counter-punching ability, good power, good speed, good head movement, and he's one of the best combination punchers in the game. But he needs opponents that are going to bring the fight to him in order for him to display those type of combinations. Because when he's constantly in there with movers and slicksters, speedsters, it takes away from one of his biggest strengths, and that's his combination punching. Because when you're chasing a guy down, you're limited to throwing 1-2s, countering and throwing single shots, trying to corner them and unload to the body, like he was doing to Lara. He was landing good combinations to the body, but he had to trap Lara in order to land those shots, which was a big reason why he was able to get the decision, for landing good combinations to the body, landing the harder, bigger shots in the fight. But Canelo, he's definitely not your typical Mexican fighter. He has his own style, fights a different way, comes forward. He likes to stay in the pocket and pick off your shots and roll your punches and counter with some of his counter punches, his right hands to the body, straight rights to the head. He's displaying a lead left hooks now. He was a little wild with it against Amir Khan, but would that fight be more effective against better fighters, and bigger fighters, remains to be seen. But Canelo is saying some right things following the fight with Amir Khan, saying that he has no fear of Triple G, that he has no issue with the weight. He's willing to fight him at 160. I hear Oscar De La Hoya has already made the phone call to Tom Loeffler. The progress has already begun. Negotiations are already being discussed. So we just have to wait and see if the fight can go down. Canelo has stated in a press conference that he has an offer to make for Triple G. A lot of people are wondering what that is. Some people say perhaps Canelo will offer Triple G a similar deal to what Ward and his people offered Kovalev, perhaps another interim fight or two in between, but a guarantee that he will fight him at a certain point sometime next year or whenever it is. Some people are speculating perhaps Canelo will offer Triple G that type of deal with an interim fight in between, and then a guaranteed date against each other after they get past their interim fights. But they could also just fight next. We have to wait and see how the progress materializes. It's the fight people want to see, and it's a tremendous matchup in terms of styles. I mean, Golovkin, he's not going to run away. He's not going to be trying to keep Canelo off balance. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to come forward. He's going to be smart, throw the jab. It'll be a great fight for however long it lasts. I still favor Triple G. He's just too much of a specimen. Canelo's never fought a puncher like that in his career. I mean, he's fought undersized punchers like Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, James Kirk. I mean, Kirkland was, Kirkland's Kirkland. I mean, Canelo's never fought that type of puncher. Never fought that type of guy with that type of size and that type of power and his technical skills at big amateur background. Just never fought that type of fighter. But Canelo, if I'm Golden Boy, I keep Canelo away from that moving type of style because it only takes away from his abilities. Just put him in there with an aggressive guys that that come to fight, and because when that happens, Canelo Alvarez is one of the funnest fighters to watch in the ring when he's in there with a guy who's gonna take the fight to him, try to be aggressive and try to come at Canelo. It's just something to watch when you see Canelo at his best, when he's unloading combinations and counters, and he has a tremendous arsenal of punches, hooks, uppercuts, overhand rights, hooks, left hooks, 1-2s, lead left hooks, overhand rights, uppercuts. I mean, it's really beautiful to watch when he's displaying those type of combinations. A Pacquiao fight, that's going to be very difficult for Canelo because of Pacquiao's speed, his footwork, his angles, his ability to punch while moving. If I'm Golden Boy, I mean, I'd be scared to make that fight because I really believe Pacquiao could beat Canelo. And Canelo, he has the power to knock Pacquiao out, but he might not ever catch him. So if it's not Triple G, I would like to see David Lemieux next. I mean, I think Canelo Alvarez would trash David Lemieux. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but Lemieux just had the type of style that will bring the best out of Canelo Alvarez. Lemieux will be right there to be hit. He'll come forward, be aggressive. He's explosive. He has good power, but I don't think he's good enough technically to hit Canelo Alvarez consistently. Considering Canelo Alvarez's improved defense, head movement, and counter-punching ability, I see Canelo Alvarez looking like $1 million in that fight. If it was to be made next, I think he perhaps makes easy work of David Lemieux. perhaps even looks even more spectacular in dispatching David Lemieux than a Triple G. And imagine that happening. Canelo Alvarez trashing David Lemieux, knocking him out, and making more easier work of him than what Triple G did. It will put a lot of doubt in a lot of people's mind about maybe Triple G might get beat by Canelo if that were to happen. But say that was to happen, Canelo knocks out David Lemieux. Imagine how big that fight would be, because then a lot of people will feel that Canelo does have a chance and he will be very live in a fight with Triple G whenever it happens. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.